Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our weekly media luncheon here on the campus of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I'm your host, LaRon Marbley, and we thank you for joining us here in the Black and Gold Room for lunch with Monte Coleman. With us today, of course, we have the head coach, Monte Coleman. Also, the players we have today, we have redshirt freshman wide receiver Tyron Ralph, who had 3 catches for 40 yards in last week's game. Also, junior kicker and all-SWAC punter Jamie Gillian, who had a 25-yard field goal also in last week's game. At this time, we will have opening remarks by head coach Monte Coleman.
Thank you, LeBron. Thank everyone for being here at the press conference. Not what we expected. Not what we expected in the long shot. Good football game. We did some bad things, but we did a lot of good things, things that we can build off of. We knew going into that game Akron was going to be a very good football team. We did play up. They are an FBS school. They were coming off a loss to Penn State, who kind of beat them pretty good, so I'm sure their ears were pinned back, and they were ready to play. I felt like our team was ready to play. Like I said, we did make some plays. It may not have looked like it by the score, but there's some things that we can build off. The 2 gentlemen that joined me today played well, played fast, played hard, along with others. And we can build off of what Mr. Ralph did, and definitely can build off of what Mr. Jamie did in that game. Other guys that played well, Keyshawn Williams still ran the ball well. The offensive line did open some holes. He didn't have the productivity like he had against Morehouse, but the effort is there, and that's what I look at. We never went down. The guys kept fighting. And week in and week out, that's what we got to have. We've got to have the guys fighting every week, and as long as we do that, we can be in ball games. We got another tough game this week. We traveled to Jonesboro to play Arkansas State, and they're a very good football team also. They were off last week. They were scheduled to play Miami, but because of the hurricanes there on the East Coast, that game was canceled. So they've had 2 weeks to prepare for us. And we're going to go into hostile territory. But we've got a chip on our shoulder because of the loss last week, and we're going to go in and try to upset Arkansas State.
Okay, thanks, Coach. And now we will open the floor for questions from the media.
First off, Coach, it seems like they kind of scouted the run game out pretty good after you guys had a pretty good productive game, run game in the first game. Can you just talk about what they showed you and how you can benefit from it?
We can definitely benefit from it. It was a good game plan by Akron. They played hard. They're a big football team. They deserve to be in the FBS. But they did scout out Keyshawn and Christian Jordan. And, we ran the football. We had to get away from the run game a lot because of we got down in score. So we had to throw the football a little bit more than what we wanted to. But the offensive line played well. They did some stunts and kind of mixed us up a little bit, some we hadn't seen before. But overall, the guys' effort, that's what I was looking at. We had effort throughout the game. I don't think there was one time that, the bench that we set down on the bench. Sorry about that. That we sat down on the bench. The guys were into the game mentally, and we played very hard.
All right, Coach, going back to using the film, could you just talk about, they were able to run the ball pretty good on you guys. Could you just talk about how you can use it with your front seven and strengthen them?
Well, a lot of his games, and he had over 140 yards, net yards. The young man is a transfer from Ohio State, and he's a very good running back. He was big, and some of ours was just missed tackles. We were trying to knock him down opposed to tackling him, and those are the things that we're going to work on this week, is that we've got to wrap up. Regardless if he's a transfer from Arkansas State or he's straight out of high school, we've got to tackle well, and that's what we didn't do in this ball game.
All right, now for Mr. Ralph, redshirt freshman Ralph. Okay, could you just talk about coming in and stepping in and taking on a bigger role as a redshirt freshman with guys leaving last year, and just a transition that you had?
It was a process. Like when I came in, I was kind of practicing a lot with Willie Young, and I just knew I had a big role coming in. So I just practiced day in and day out, playing fast, playing hard, just giving a lot of effort. So it shows in practice, so it'll show on the field too.
All right, now Mr. Gillen, special teams, you're 2 for 2 for the year. Punt's been pretty good. Could you just talk about what the unit is at this point and how you feel about it?
Well, we just recently got Jack Ray, the long snapper, so that's really helped me out a lot. He's been whipping it back to me, so that's given me a lot more time to really concentrate on my technique with my punting and my kicking. We also got a new special teams coach who has been working with me every day, just working on the process of the field goals, the punting, and the kickoff. I didn't have a couple of good punts and didn't really have a couple of good kickoffs too, but I mean, I've got a whole week to work on it again and get better for A-State.
All right. Now, Coach Coleman, could you just talk about cutting back on the penalties and turnovers? They had 11 penalties, so you guys 7 penalties, which is kind of a win in that aspect. Could you just talk about getting better in the turnover aspect?
We want to eliminate both. We want to be minimum in penalties. When you're playing hard, sometimes you're going to get some penalties. The thing we don't want, which we hadn't had, are what I call the stupid penalties, where you've got an unsportsmanlike conduct or you've got something of that nature. So we hadn't gotten those. We've got face masks. We've got pass interference. You're going to do that when you're playing aggressive. You're going to have those type penalties. As far as turnovers, we go into a game and our game plan is to win the giveaway takeaway. And this is 2 weeks in a row we've lost the giveaway takeaway. Brandon had 2 interceptions. Great plays by their defenders. But we've got to eliminate that. That's something that we practice every day, is not turning the football over. Something that's very conscious on their minds every single day, all of the offensive players and defensive players for that matter, because we want to take the ball away. We want to script the opponents. We want to intercept balls. We want to take the ball away so that at the end of the day, we can win the giveaway takeaway. And right now, I think we're -4 in the giveaway takeaway category.
Okay. Now, could you just address the healthy running back? I know you have guys like Monte and I think another guy, Glad, that hadn't touched the field yet. Could you just talk about getting them out there in the rotation?
I can't wait. I really can't wait. They're a big part of our football team. They're a big part of our plan back in the spring and also in the fall practice. And right now, they've got little boo-boos that's keeping them out. We're hoping that Dante will be back this week. I don't think we'll see Gladden this week, but right now, to get Dante, which is a big bruiser-type running back, carrying the football, will also help us out as far as our running game.
All right, last question here. Just talk about how it would benefit you to play a team like Akron with that type of speed going into the Arkansas State game, similar Division I type of.
It's going to be very similar. I think that the crowd in the stands will be a little more hostile there at Arkansas State than it was there at Akron. But as far as the ability on the field, it's going to be very, very similar. We know that we're playing up. It is an FBS school also. But as far as their talent, they're very talented. The offensive line, they've got 2 guys that was on the team last year, but the other 3 are new. They've got great size. And the thing that you look at the most, they've got lots of speed. Their cornerback is their return man, and he's one that you don't want to kick the ball to. So we will not kick to him on kickoffs or on punts because he has the ability to take it to the house. So Arkansas State's a good football team. Very well coached, has a lot of talent, have had for a lot of years. They've gone to the playoffs the last few years and fared well in that. So, we've got our hands full this week, but it's not above a challenge.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, you were mentioning about having to pass more than you wanted to against Akron. Is that something that you foresee happening against Arkansas State? You mentioned, the controlling the line. Is that something that you might see?
I hope not. I'm hoping that we can come out and stay balanced like we have or like we try to do, a part of our game plan. So I'm hoping that this week that we can come out and establish a run. And if we can, then we'll mix it up, run and pass like It's a part of our game plan.
And with matchups like this, and then coming off of a loss like that with Akron, how do you reset again?
That's the nature of our game. We watched the film on Sunday. That game is behind us. Everything that we're doing right now is en route to Arkansas State there in Jonesboro. So the Akron game, we had one young man that was injured. Other than that, everybody else is pretty much healthy. So the Akron game is over with. So from a mental standpoint, the players realize that, the coaches realize that, and like I said, we're concentrating right now on Arkansas State.
But in that Akron game, it seemed like you guys, some of the success you found was on the outside, getting the ball in the hands of some guys with speed. Is that kind of where your strength is?
I think so. We're very strong at the wide receiver position. Brandon throws a good ball. Mr. Ralph, he had an outstanding game. That's why he's here. Didn't get the number of catches he wanted, but the ones he caught were very beneficial for our offense. Now it's just a matter of protecting. Just a matter of protecting and just doing a little bit better job taking care of the football. And I think we'll fare well.
And, you mentioned, going into Arkansas State being a lot different than Akron. I mean, this is an interstate game for you guys. And even though it's not on the same level, what's the importance of that?
Well, it's very important. When you start recruiting, we go down and we beat Arkansas State. Now some of the guys that maybe not looking at us from a recruiting standpoint may look at us because we've beaten an FBS school. So it's important, very important for a lot of reasons, and plus just for confidence on our side. We go down and we play well and we win this football game. Can you imagine the confidence that we'll have going into the SWAC the following week? So this is a big game for us.
And the last time you guys played Central Arkansas was 2008 too. These games don't come around too often.
No, for whatever reason, there's opportunities to do a home and home, but now with the games that we have, we want to play what we call kind of a financial beneficial type game. So we're choosy in the games that we do choose in state.
And it seems like, for benefit everywhere, it seems like instead of playing an FBS game outside the state, it seems like it would be more beneficial to do that here.
It gives our fans a great opportunity to travel 2.5 hours up the road to watch us play. We had some fans there at Akron, Ohio, but not many. But I suspect we'll have more this week. So to play an in-state school, it's beneficial all the way around. We'll have our band with us, we'll have the cheerleaders, and hopefully we'll have some fans up in the stands.
It seems like the others are more open to it than Arkansas is.
We're hoping for that payday one day to be able to go up to Fayetteville and play Arkansas. But we don't know. Keeping our fingers crossed.
I mean, back to this game here. You were mentioning some of the penalties as mistakes. So, against Akron, what's going on the side? There's some sideline violations.
They're coming down real hard on the coaches. There's a coaching box on the sidelines, and there's an official box on the sideline. And if you get in his box and he runs into you, it's going to be a penalty. Now, typically what they'll do is they'll give you a sideline warning. For us, on Saturday, they threw the flag, which was a 15-yard penalty. And then the second time, he bumped one of the coaches in the coach's box. They gave us a warning. So it should have been, in my opinion, just the opposite. They should have given us the warning first, and that's what they typically do. And then if they bump you again, that's when you get the penalty.
And as the game went on and the touchdown came, you guys went for a fake punt at one point. Kind of got to a point where it was desperate at times. I mean, how do you keep it from getting to that point?
We've got to play better offense. We've got to play better defense and special teams. We don't want to get behind because it kind of takes you out of your game plan. So we want to play solid football up front, start fast, so we don't get out of our game plan. We've got to fake in every week. Now, we don't always use it, but there was an opportunity to use it this week, and it was successful. Unfortunately, for about a yard, Nick just didn't lay out, or he didn't get the first down, which hurt us. But Jamie threw a great pass to him. He caught the ball, and yeah, he threw that right-handed too.
Yeah.
I thought you was left-handed, but he threw a great pass to him, and you know, we will try faking, running. Jamie can run it. You know, keep the guys off balance.
Jamie, you threw that with your right hand. You're normally left-handed?
No, I'm just left-footed, right-handed. Don't really know how that happened, but yeah, a little bit.
So, you know, what went through that play? Could you take me through that a little bit?
Well, you know, we're about 5 yards short, and you know, even though this is a really important game for us, it's also, you know, to experiment with different things. So we're 5 yards away, and coach gave us the all clear to throw it, and I'm not going to lie, I was very nervous. I play rugby, we don't throw like that, so I was a little nervous, but you know, just stayed cool, and Jack snapped me a great ball, and just saw Nick and tossed it to him, you know. So
Good pass.
You know, you mentioned he's said there's one in place every week. I mean, in a game like this, that's, you know, against a team with a level like that, do you anticipate, and how do you feel like you beat?
We hope that we never get into that opportunity to do it, but we do have a fake in every week. I mean, that's just a part of coaching. It's not just us. That's all coaches pretty much throughout the country. They're going to have fakes in. They're going to have different trick plays, reverses, and all that kind of stuff in, just in case. And I hope we don't have to get in a situation like that we've got to use it again, but we will have one in place.
And with you, and so you were talking about the performance, and you know, just when you look at the secondary for Arkansas State, and you know, part of that game, what do you see, and how do you see yourself fit into it?
I just really have to study their movement, study their technique, and I just have to improve my game in practice too. So running routes, focusing on the football, it's a big game, so I'm gonna have to prepare harder in practice to defeat Arkansas State DBs. It's gonna be a tough game. I'm ready for it.
You from Arkansas?
No, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay. And you know, with a game like this, playing back to back, you mentioned the last game. How do you reset for yourself and then looking at this one?
It's just the game plan we have to come with, and in practice we're gonna be all right for this one. It's just a matter of time, just to learn their defense, just learning their techniques. As long as we defeat that, we have positive yardage, get a lot of first downs, and we'll score more. We can defeat Arkansas State, as long as with the great preparation.
Appreciate it. You know, last question, Coach. Just with Justice Hansen setting his own school record in completions last week, the week before against Nebraska, just how do you contain the pass game for him, and what do you see?
We tell the guys to do their job. Do their job first before they try to help someone else. So if you're the right defensive end and you know you've got contain, you've got to contain. If you're the left defensive end, you know you've got contain, you've got to contain. If you're the middle linebacker and you're responsible for the A gaps, you've got to take care of the A gaps. A lot of times when you get in trouble is when you try to do too much. So you got the A gaps, but now you're trying to help contain, and where do they run the football? In the A gaps. So we're saying it's a gap controlled defense. Just do your job first. And that's what we're telling them. That's what we've coached from the beginning. In the game past Saturday, in some cases, we tried to do a little too much, being a little over-aggressive, and that's where they would hit us at, where we should have been.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
One last question here, Coach. Was it 2 years ago that you guys played Arkansas State?
We played them in 13.
13.
Yes.
Going in there before, you just talked about the benefit of that, and what you expect going in a place like Arkansas State.
New coaching staff, new team, of course. Philosophy there is pretty much the same. They're going to be a high-tempo team. They're big in size, and they want to put a lot of points on the board. They're trying to make it to the playoffs, and they want to put a lot of points on the board. It's a good team, a good test for us to see if we can match up with them. So it should be a good football game.
Tim Stubbs, UAPB-TV sports coach. Talk a little bit about the value and the magnitude of playing up against the FBS schools. Finally, UAPB has that opportunity to do so, and how important that is to the program and the university.
It's very important, Tim, to the entire athletic program. Without letting the cat out of the bag, but most people do know when you play up and play the FBS schools, we call those money games. And we do get a substantially large check from playing schools of that caliber. And we'll continue to do that. The league itself, the SWAC, has gone to a 7-game format to give us the ability to play, quote, the money games. So we've got 2 this year, and we're hoping to get more in the future. So, even though, basketball does it, they go and play Michigan, they play Michigan State and all of them, and, they put their efforts out, but it's to get a paycheck at the end. Now, for us, it helps all of athletics, some of the non-revenue sports, because we can play the games, the money games. It helps all of athletics to help get more things that we need in athletics. So we will continue to do that.
Over the longevity of this, do you see it really increasing the talent level across the board for your roster? I know it's
Yes.
good. It's good advertisement just to see the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff in the Midwest, maybe West Coast, East Coast, wherever it may be. Talk about that a little bit. Just the longevity, the pros of this down the road.
I think it's a great pro. Because of the additional scholarships, now we can go out from east to west to north to south and find better ball players. We can get some FBS players that maybe don't have the grades to get into an FBS school, and now we can get them in our school. So it's going to benefit us greatly. The game on Saturday was on ESPN3. This week we're on ESPN3 again, so we're getting the pub that we need. We've got 2 young men that are, I forget the school, but they're an FBS school, I'll think of it in a minute, that are throwbacks at a junior college, and they're talking to us and talking very favorable to come here. Both of them played at this FBS school, and right now they're looking. It's supposed to be December grads. So because we're getting the publicity being on ESPN, ESPN3, and all of that, now more players are seeing us and want to be a part of the Golden Lion family.
Definitely helps level the playing field across the SWAC.
Yes.
Whereas other teams have had opportunities, and now UAPB can step up and do that as well. With 3 non-conference games going into conference, I know obviously you want to win all of them.
Yes.
What are you looking for outside of staying healthy, getting ready for conference play, going into this Arkansas State game? What are you looking for specifically as coaches, maybe to get your rotation set as you go into conference?
Let's just look at it from this standpoint. Say, for instance, hypothetically, we don't win the game on Saturday against Arkansas State. All right. What I want to see out of our team, first of all, I do want to stay healthy. And all of our key positions want to make sure that we walk out of the game healthy. The second thing is maybe we don't win on the scoreboard, but I want to at least win on the field. I want a great effort on the field by our guys, and stick-to-itiveness that we're playing to win. The thing I don't want us to do is be intimidated by Arkansas State, by Akron, or by anyone else that we may play in the future. But I want us to be competitive on the field and win that way, because now when we get into SWAC play, I want it to just roll over with the enthusiasm that, hey, we have a good football team and we can win football games in the SWAC. And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to be very competitive on the field.
For our 2 players here, just talk about maybe some of the goals you have upcoming season. I know, get some experience now here in the SWAC. Talk about that a little bit.
Coach Sheffield set a lot of goals for me to achieve. Just a couple of them. I want to be the best in SWAC. I'd like to be at least top 10 in FCS football for punting, field goals, and kickoff. I feel like most coaches feel that I have the talent to do it, and now that I've got the coaching to do it too, why not go for it?
Well, in order to get to them goals, my receiver coach, Coach Bailey, always talk about small things. So in order to do the small things like running routes, studying your opponent, working hard in practice, with all that to come together, I honestly want to be, all SWAC at receiver. So it's going to take just the small things and just to perform with a lot of effort to get to all SWAC.
Coach, finally, getting a chance to travel. I know you guys flew to Akron and had a chance to visit the Hall of Fame and things of that nature. Just talk about the morale of the team and trips like that and kind of what that does for the family of the team.
You know what, Tim? Last week, the head coach from Morehouse made a comment after the game. He said this is a different football team than last year, and I have to agree with him. I think I made that statement last week also. The morale of this team, the energy of this team actually started last spring. These guys came together as a football team, and they start working harder during the summer. We had over 40 guys here working hard, and I carried over to fall training camp. And with that, it hadn't stopped. We've had some very, very enthusiastic practices. Unfortunately for us, last Tuesday it rained, so we had to go into the gym, so that modifies one of our days because we only get 3 days to practice before we get on the road or before Saturday. And it's raining again today. So, we take all that with a grain of salt, but as far as the attitude of the players, it's right where I want it to be. They enjoy being around each other. They enjoy playing for each other, and it's showing a lot better this year than it did last year. So the enthusiasm of the team hadn't fallen off at all, regardless of the loss against Akron. We will be ready to play this weekend.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you to the media for their questions. We will now open the floor for audience questions. We ask that you please limit your questions to 2. Any questions from the audience? All right. Well, if there are no questions, we'd like to thank you again for coming out to our weekly media luncheon, lunch with Coach Monte Coleman. We'd like to thank Coach Coleman and the players as well. Redshirt freshman wide receiver Taryn Ralph, and junior punter and kicker Jamie Gillian. Also, we'd like to thank Aramark for preparing the food today, and you can enjoy your meal now buffet style. Once again, thank you for coming out, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you.